gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of Alignment Shift. I'm your host, the magnificent, the wonderful, the mysterious, the slightly egregious Cal. Joining me tonight, we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
the
yeah.
yeah. Come on, I don't hear a round of applause. Where's my studio audience? Yay! I am joined tonight by none other than the. I'm running out of adjectives to call people.
Because you used them all on yourself.
I,
Wow, this guy.
Is your camera okay there?
Yeah,
my
it's
camera.
chill. It just fell off.
Because I just see swirling
this,
white.
this is a podcast. There's no camera. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Yep, that's it.
I am joined by Peggy,
Hello. She's wearing
Kayla.
a tiara today.
Hi.
George,
Huh?
Mackenzie,
Hello there.
Steven.
Get
No, we are in quarantine. Stay over there.
over here.
And once again, AJ is a.
I get it.
So,
It's a working man.
where we left off last. The party had made it to the final chamber of the Nest trials, only one being allowed to move forward to become a potential Phoenix. Xavier, initially turning down this right, decided to step in when the opportunity was presented to the rest of the party. Presented with the option, a seemingly impossible scenario. The doors closed, they were trapped in magic circles, and told that someone must die for the others to be set free. Xavier attempted to throw his daggers at Alan, who reflexively deflected them, and the test was over. It had been a test of selflessness, and the goal had been to choose your own demise rather than the leader of the organization and your own father. So,
Wouldn't it be funny if you crit?
regardless of how the test had gone, a celebration was held in which it was discovered. Surprisingly, the Nest has more members than Xavier was aware. They had opened into a grand hall of 300 strong members of the guild. Some of his own family in there. Her name always Charlotte, was it?
Charlotte's is one of them, but I think it was specifically Mavis this time.
It was Mavis. It was definitely Mavis. Mavis was in there, and this is apparently something that is kept from fledglings and lower-ranking members of the Nest to help bolster the ranks and camaraderie amongst the family. Entering the room, a strange figure in gold with a golden mask came in, welcomed the new recruits, and told some very dry dad jokes about dragons.
Encore.
Elena, with her keen ears and knowledge of Whitestone, immediately recognized this voice as the Grand Poobah de Doink himself, Jakar. Confronting him, however, he removed his mask to reveal a completely different face beneath, and not seeming to know what she was talking about, though smiling shyly the entire time. Regardless of the true head of the Nest's identity, which still remains shrouded in mystery, most of the party went to bed, finding owl adorned armor on their bed, already custom fitted for each of them. While Sapala and Glaive spent the evening frolicking and playing ninja in the bedroom, Xavier and Eldores did some identifications on Eldores' magic items. Elena and Oliver went
And
back
Vale.
and Vale went to Whitestone. Not Whitestone. Good lord, I keep doing
Grayskull.
Grayskull Keep to prepare a Viking funeral for Aunt Cass. And that is where we pick up today's session, as the pyre slowly burns to a dying ember. Surrounding Vale and Elena, the smoke and haze of a very late evening. No moon, no stars, an overcast night. No lights on in the cold of Grayskull Keep. The two of you and Oliver stand giving your final response.
Now what?
Now I think we have to deal with our brothers.
Oh, is Julius fine?
Julius is currently seated in Whitestone in charge of the entire security of the town, so I should say he's doing all
He's good at that. Okay, now we have to deal with the other two.
right. Elena, I shall take responsibility for our youngest brothers. You do what you need to do, gather our allies. I shall.
Kick some sense into them.
Oh, aside from them, I think it's about time I have a chat with this dragon.
Mm. Are you
Perhaps
sure
a conflict could be avoided if diplomacy isn't enacted first.
But if he's working with the Chained Oblivion, as I have
Then
heard,
his true intentions will be revealed to his followers, and perhaps sow disorder amongst them. If he's trying to take over Taldore, he'll have the followers of the people. If he's trying to take over the world, well, I'm sure some of them will disagree.
just be careful.
Hey, I have your shield guardian, don't I?
Yes. Just
Although I currently call him the Gatling guardian.
whatever. His name is Terry, but it's okay.
Terry, okay. After Uncle Terry,
Yes.
I do see a striking resemblance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah. He would be an excellent member of the brigade, would he not?
Yes. Just he can't protect you from everything. So just and we Durlos are known for causing trouble.
No, not us. Certainly not you. Which, speaking of, Vale.
Oh, Vale.
Wait, speaking of causing trouble?
Speaking of the Durolos causing trouble,
Ah,
we need
Ma-
someone
makes
with a
more
clear
sense.
head with Elena.
Definitely not
Do-
Vale, but whatever.
Do your best to protect her, will you? And keep her from doing anything that you wouldn't do.
I feel like
That's a lot on that list.
I feel like I'm definitely the wrong person to ask this.
He doesn't know that.
You should say whatever C. Paula wouldn't do.
Yeah, right?
Okay, yeah, so I will gather allies. We're probably going to go to Sigorn, so if you need me to send your lover any messages.
None that would be appropriate to be stowed by you.
Maybe a letter of like, hey, this is what's going on. We need to rally Sigorn, and maybe he can assist us in that. I'm socially inept in the diplomacy department.
He kind of glances down, gives a little chuckle, reaches over to one of his gauntlets, and you notice standing here with Oliver, you're used to his. You are now used to his gleaming, glittering armor that he's been wearing. But as you are close to him, you do see now that there are innumerable pockmarks in his armor. There is scrapes and dents in parts where it has been patched with non-shiny steel that's just rudimentarily tacked on and riveted in place. And you see that there are parts where the gold trim is completely missing. His armor, as much of his personality, has been through hell, battling the orcs in the dividing fields. On his gauntlet, you do see that there is one intact opal still on one of the wrists, and he kind of, with his hand, pries it out and hands it to you. If you see him, just hand him this so he knows I'm still thinking.
Okay. Put it in my pack. Like, give him a hug.
You are muted.
No, she's not.
You should
No, I'm not. I'm just
You're
talking.
still
Sec-
muted.
No, I'm not. Am I
She's
muted? Can
definitely
you?
not.
Am I muted?
No. Can you not hear me?
Can't I say all of us can hear her.
Now you're muted.
Now you're
Cal.
muted.
You're trapped.
Technical difficulties, everybody.
When do we have those?
Never.
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 This is a rare occurrence.
Ah, yes, Cal chest. That's what we...
So I can't take notes right now because Lola is literally sitting on top of a notebook.
Yeah, you
Move
were
her.
muted. My headphones came on.
Okay. Alright, so I hold it and I say, okay. God, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying.
You said you were gonna put it in your
Alright,
pack.
I put it in my pack and I give him a hug. And I tell him I love him even though he's a butthead. Yeah.
Is it one of those like delayed, stare at each other like awkward Disney, like okay, you're my brother, and then finally you wrap your
No.
arms around him?
No, it's a genuine. We've had our ups and downs, but we're finally coming back together as siblings, sort of.
I liked
thing.
mine better.
Yeah, sorry.
Just kidding.
If
So
make
I
you
want to
feel
point
better,
out
Steven, I can
something.
give him an awkward hug.
I would like to point out something that kind of goes to the paradox of our situation. Remember how we couldn't come to agreement on what Elena's brothers' names were?
Yeah.
I have one of my old notes here, and it is titled Julius's letter, but it is signed Oliver Vaxeldon von Musil-Kalowski.
My God. Here's
So
a question.
I have,
Elena, have you seen
You
all your
don't
brothers
even
in
know
the same
the
room
author.
before?
Yes.
Is one of your brothers Batman?
Batman.
Just
Well,
saying.
Oliver-
Haven't seen him.
Oliver has-
Ba-na-na-na-na-na.
All white hair, correct? That's what we came to. He is all white hair.
Yeah.
And
I
like
believe so,
a
yeah.
streak of black, or is it just all white?
It's all white. He's got that.
Yeah.
He's got that platinum elf half.
Oh no, that's not
Yeah.
good.
Oh gosh.
And then Percy, Julius's hair. It looks like Percy.
Yeah.
And then the twins.
Both of them, both your brothers, Vaxeldon or Oliver and Julius. Julius looks like Percy with dark
Yeah.
hair and the streak. Oliver looks like Percy if he was an elf.
Yes, that's what it was.
So are they all half elves, or because there's
Yeah,
a
they're
chance?
all half elves, but like
In theory.
Julius looks the most like I could pass as a human with slightly pointed ears, and Oliver looks the most like I could look like an elf with slightly less pointed ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason I ask is because it's kind of diluted. It's more towards the human side on that, so the only reason I ask.
We lean more. Well, I lean more elven. So.
Yeah.
The way I viewed
Alright.
it was like the elven blood kind of like went downhill as more children were born.
Yeah. So the last twin, Alton.
Yeah.
Human.
Alton just like almost he's mostly human.
Poor Alton. This is why he's revolting.
Anyway, so Vale, Elena, is there anything more that you want to do at Greyskull Keep, or are you heading out?
Does he give me a nice heartfelt hug, or is his awkward?
Probably one of the
Pineapple.
most heartfelt hugs you've received from Oliver since your childhood.
Don't cry. All right. Should we go back to the nest? Real?
Let's see if anything else you need to take care of.
Now here's the question: can you get back to it?
Yeah,
Now
we
here's
have
the
the coin.
How many shops are on the way?
What time of day is it? That's the question. Because we did just burn a
I
body.
believe it was like mid-afternoon.
Okay, this is totally potentially happen.
How
Do you need
much
to
is
go
an
sh-
airship?
You don't have the
I
money.
mean, let's go.
How much is a crew for an airship?
Oh, he's getting the book.
Oh no, I was kidding.
I can
I'm
see
sure
that this
not.
thing does.
I mean, you
I'm-
might have enough money.
I'm kidding. I need the money to get to Marquette so I can retire.
I still kind of want to know.
Fuck this continent.
Hang on a minute. Some of that money is ours.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of want to do some retail therapy. In all honesty, for
Guide ships.
Elena.
Ships cost 100,000 gold pieces. Personal travel 2 gold per passenger. Shipping costs 1 gold per 100 pounds per mile.
We can't do that yet.
Almost there.
Almost. Okay.
We're halfway.
Let's do some retail therapy.
Running on a prayer.
Are we almost? Are we almost there in terms of being able to buy it? But can we upkeep it? That's another thing.
Please, nothing gets destroyed around us.
Okay.
Please. All right. Yeah,
That's
let's do some
laughable.
retail therapy. I
Alright.
want to look for a really awesome dagger in
Alright,
honor
so
of
the two-
Cass.
So the two of you start making your way toward Iman. At that point, I'm just going to head back to the nest. Hold on. It was nighttime because everyone was going to bed the previous evening,
Mhm.
and you guys burned the body. My description was at night. So now it's
Okay.
late evening.
I guess we just kind of killed yesterday afternoon because I feel like we knocked out that test before noon.
You did. You knocked out the test before noon. It's a several-hour
Okay,
walk
we
to
just partied the
Graceful
last-
Keep, and
the
then
last,
a funeral takes a while.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Prepping. Yeah. Okay.
We'll do some retail therapy tomorrow.
She's really hooked on that term.
I don't know what that means.
It's where you shop to feel better.
Gonna shop till the drop.
I don't think that works.
Yeah. Oh, when we get back to the nest, can I talk to Glaive and see if he can send a message?
All right, so the two of you start heading back to the nest. You make it to the mid-market square, now empty, as guards are patrolling the streets. I'd like you to make a perception check.
Oh no. Oh
Oh boy, here we go. These guards again.
Oh no.
Try me.
Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry, Lola. I didn't mean to hit you with my dice bag.
she
Modded
did.
20.
Sorry. It's really hard when I can't use my mouse because my cat is in the way. You said perception? Um, 19.
19? All right. You make it to the square. You find, with your coin, walking kind of blindly around for a little bit, you eventually find the solid surface of the nest. And as you kind of tap your way around, eventually the coin just slots almost into a hole and turns like a key. And you are able to kind of just slip in to the front entryway of this tower. Eventually, you make your way back toward the rooms that you'd been in, up the tower a ways. You do not know which room Glaive is in, however, Elena.
But I know what room I was in.
It's
Right?
true. You do. Yeah.
Can I earring Glaive?
Roll to detect ninjas.
You'll earring all of them.
Go ahead and earring him.
Okay. That's it. Glaive.
Ow! Paula, drop my arm. What do you want,
What?
Elena?
Um,
You were playing ninja. I don't know.
yeah, you were playing ninja. Remember, you were pretending to be ninjas.
Drop my arm.
Can I ask a favor?
Sure. What do you need, Elena?
Can we send a message to my parents that Aunt Cass has passed away?
All right, leading into it heavy. I like it.
Oh.
Which one am I sending it to?
Oh. Who would be more like emotionally stable to handle this information?
I feel like Vex would.
You're not there.
Yeah.
Shush.
To my mom.
Player knowledge. Player knowledge. That's all I'm saying. That's my
We'll send
opinion.
it to my mom. We'll send it to my mom. Let her know. I don't know, like. We'll just let her know she was attacked by mind flayers.
Okay. There's a brief pause for a couple minutes. Glaive comes back over the earring, says, yep, she says she will tell your dad gently.
Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna go to sleep now.
Human walkie-talkie going to bed too.
Thank you, Glaive.
I don't know what a walkie-talkie is.
Paula, stop that.
All right. Does anyone else have anything they wanted to do before going to bed for the evening?
Hey Xavier, did you check out this armor?
I did.
Well, what can you tell me about it?
Well, it's similar to Elven Chain, where you don't need to be proficient with it. It still counts as armor. I believe it was leather armor, or was it stud leather armor? Cal.
It was leaded. Or leaded.
Leather.
Yeah, leather.
It protects from radiate?
Nice.
It is just normal leather armor, but it's custom fitted. So it'll give you all the benefits of it. It also makes you more quiet. So like an elven kind enchantment.
I see.
Hypothetically, Cal, if I was to put this armor on, how much stealth would it give me?
It's a bit situational. It's more of it gives you advantage. It's a
Okay.
situational advantage though, depending on how it's used. It gives you advantage in darkness and in being quiet. So if you are in the middle of a crowd trying to slip away, nothing happens with the armor. But crouching through the shadows, sneaking across rooftops, things like that would grant you advantage with this armor.
Second question.
Mhm.
Does this armor look fairly similar to the armor in which we saw the sniper shoot from? Wearing?
It is hard to tell. You do know that the sniper was wearing kind of a hood. This does not have a hood on it.
But it could have a hood. Like you could put a hood.
It could have a hood. Black leather armor, without being able to see the details, the intricacies of this armor stand out to you up close. From afar, it would look like any other set of just dark leathers.
But they got away so silently. Okay, alright. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna keep it with me because, I mean, I'm already pretty dang stealthy as it is.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're all having a conversation over the radio, and Uldoris is like, "Can I please go to sleep? You're all
I'm
very
sorry.
quiet, very loud." No,
I'm sorry, Eldorus. I tried to be quiet.
it's okay.
You the best.
All right. Anyone else have things they want to do tonight?
No.
Okay.
I'm kind of wondering in the morning how this potion affects me, how that poison affects me,
Okay.
or affects everyone.
So you all go to
I
bed?
guess.
I'm gonna start reading one of my books. Just
I'm really
casually.
nervous. I'm really nervous about dream section if it happens.
Spoilers.
So,
Sorry.
as sleep takes you all, everyone who had failed their Constitution saving throw for the poisons, your night is restless and full of uneasy dreams, lots of sweating, and kind of almost like seizures throughout the night. Everyone who had failed that test, give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, had failed the save to.
Yes, when
Okay.
they first took the potion.
I think, who was it? Was it
I
just...
think it was Sapala and Aloris.
No, Sapala was fine.
Sapala
It
succeeded
was
on the save.
It was Xavier and
Oh,
someone
yes.
else.
Yeah, I've had.
Oh no, it was Xavier and Vale.
And
But you
Uldoris.
talked your and Yuldoris, but you talked your way out of it because of your immunities
I
to
didn't make the
poisons
roll.
and diseases.
All right, so it's just me and Eldoris then.
Yeah.
Constitution saving
Oh,
throw?
and Glaive.
That would be a 22.
Wow, got a pretty nice con bonus there, huh?
I have +5. That's it.
I know.
I don't, yeah, I don't have proficiency in it. If I did, it would be broken.
Don't need it.
And I can't get resilient either. 'Cause that was for dex saves.
Marvelous.
You can get it multiple times.
Can you get that one multiple times?
You just gotta pick a different thing, and it uses up a feat. So
Okay.
Eh.
What is that?
I would be kind of wasting it because I would only be getting it for the save because I can't
exactly.
plus my con anymore.
I didn't say I would advise it.
Plus,
Oh, okay. I rolled a 17.
Oh, all right.
Ooh.
Xavier, you make it through the evening.
Ugh.
It's restless, but you are able to find some sleep. Your heart full of pride being with your family and in this wonderful tower of knowledge. You're able to kind of clear your mind, meditate a little, if you will, and find some semblance of rest. Uldores, you're kind of terrified. You don't know what's going on. You keep having almost seizures in your bed. You're sweating. It's practically dripping on the floor, and your sheets are soaked. You're not able to sleep a wink over the night, and you take one level of exhaustion.
Oh.
I had
boy.
put the skull in the bag, by the way.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
What does one
Um,
level exhaustion do again?
It's
Disadvantage
been a
on
while.
ability checks.
Yeah, disadvantage on all ability checks.
I know that one.
Very well.
You've had it for a while.
That's my expertise.
Aside from that, everyone except for Vale, who had taken the potion, when you awake in the morning, you are now immune to all poisons and diseases
Oh,
Permanently?
Yeah.
permanently.
That's dope. That's real dope.
It's a very interesting tonic they make you drink.
Vale. Uldorus does not come out of his room in the morning.
Okay, so morning comes. Most of you feeling rested. Xavier, you're a little worse for wear, but not anywhere near a level of exhaustion. Kind of like when you have a big cup of coffee before going to bed, and that caffeine just
Ooh.
sucks with your sleep for the entire night. As you all come out, you can smell this wafting scent of paprika and pepper and oils coming from some floor above you. The great hall that the ceremony had been in before. As you make your way up toward the breakfast, and you see massive tables filled with just look at hand-cooked meals of dry rubbed herbal porks and meats, scrambled eggs, lots of fruits, almost a Middle Eastern spread of breakfast attire out on these tables. You all notice that Uldores is not amongst you eventually here in the breakfast hall.
Can I hear Yodores? I'm hearing you, Yodores.
Go away.
Are you okay? Do you want me to bring you some breakfast? Pocket bacon,
No.
bagels.
He just
Warm
says no
milk.
and then is quiet.
Yell
Can I-
up on me.
Can I take some put some things on a plate, like I want to set it in front of his door and just knock and be like, I brought you some food. And then just leave it there. And then go back to breakfast.
So what's the plan?
That's
Food.
what we need to discuss.
Food at the moment.
Well, we can discuss it while we're eating.
Well, let's get the food first.
So you all sit around the table. There's not as many people in here as there had been the night before. Clearly, everyone had gone back to their rooms and duties and things like that afterward. But there's still a heavy number, maybe 20 to 30 people in this room, all having breakfast. some of whom wearing black armor, but some of them you also see have the same leathers, but in blues and whites and other colors as well. Kind of sitting around, various outer garments put on over top, robes and hoods, armor bits that have been attached to the sleeves and things like that on some people in the room. At one point, you see Alan comes in, sits down, not at the main head table where he had the day before, but rather by one of the fireplaces up in a corner, alone, just kind of sits over there, begins eating his breakfast. And yeah, breakfast passes. You all eat. It's wonderfully seasoned food. Everything's got a great spice and flavor to it, freshly cooked and prepared. The fruits seem hand-picked and not preserved in any way. It's quite a spread.
Yeah, I still want to take breakfast to Yobares.
You did that and came back, remember?
Oh yeah, I was making sure.
Second breakfast.
Did he say anything after you got the food to him?
No, I just left it at the door for him.
Well, I'm betting he had a rough night like I did. That's a concoction doesn't go down smooth. Doesn't stay down either.
Huh.
I don't know. I feel great.
I feel much better now, but like, it's hard to get to sleep last night.
It's like when you eat too much ice cream and you're lactose intolerant.
George.
Cal, check your
yeah,
check your phone.
Kale, check your Discord.
So.
Cal, check your phone after Discord.
Where do we want to go next?
Well, we have Masuta. We have.
Oh boy.
If we want to try to get them as allies, we also do have the potential allies of Singorn if we go and do that stupid haunted house bullshit.
Okay. I thought, I have organized, like, kind of importance, but it's arbitrarily important. I thought Singorn, Masuta, potentially Wildmount, if Sapala wanted us to go to Wildmount.
All of Wildmount.
If not, I didn't know where in Wildmount we're going. I don't know who we're dealing with.
That's
And
more.
then I
It
thought,
hasn't been picked yet.
Vasselheim or, what?
So we should do that one first, is what you're saying.
Or,
Yeah, I'm good on the fly.
or Marquette.
Well,
I feel like Singorn is our possible largest ally at this point. And
well, Singorn will probably also be like the easiest,
yeah,
potentially because. Oh, excuse me.
we just have to take care of a house and some fairies.
We just have to take care of the house and some fey creatures in it, so that
Yeah,
should be
I
pretty easy. And now that I know the nest is much bigger
Everywhere?
than what it is, we might have faster travel down there.
That would be great.
So
'cause then
if give me like 10 minutes, I can talk to Alan or my father, and I can potentially see if there's.
we'll go
yeah.
Singorn. We'll hit Masuda. It'll be great. So,
Yeah, it's not too far from each other, I don't think.
As you are all discussing this, a hand appears on Xavier's shoulder, and you all kind of jump a little bit because no one heard him approaching, even Xavier. But immediately you're comforted when you see the hand. Scott has placed a hand on Xavier's shoulder, is walking right up behind him, nonchalantly, but somehow completely evading your gaze.
Well, you're still as.
Can I just give a really girlish scream in that moment?
Sure.
that
Half
was,
the heads in the room kind of turn towards you. A couple plates clatter.
That was.
Elena is emotionally messed up right now and does not need people sneaking up on her, okay?
But didn't
Do I have a
sneak up
passive
on.
stealth
Whatever.
score at this point?
What was that?
He has a passive. Yeah, every skill has a passive skill.
I want a passive stealth score.
I want a passive Arcana score.
You do.
Okay, alright.
Uh,
So
well,
girlish is great. I apologize.
Gosh, I wish I had calm emotions. Um, well, you're just as sneaky as ever, I see. That hasn't changed.
I'm sorry.
I've always had my tricks, Xavier. You know that.
I do. But
Come with me.
oh well. Speak of the devil. We had a quick question for you while you were here. Now that I know the nest is much bigger than just Amon, do we have a teleportation circle close to or near Singorn?
Or in Singapore.
We have one for every district in Singapore.
Great. I will.
Wow.
Now, the second question: do we have access
What
to these?
else is a part of this nest?
What was the question, Xavier?
Do we have access to these?
You do, but you may wish to follow me first.
Okay. And if you're talking about elves, Mavis is an elf, full elf.
Okay, I'm sorry, I wasn't
Where's
aware.
Jakar?
Yeah. No. Don't know. I don't know if that was.
Jakar is really Jakar. Like,
Oh,
But,
sure, now you're doubting.
But no, like
No, no.
there's a myriad of different races. You've probably seen.
Hey, Myriad.
You've probably seen a
I'm out.
fucking dwarf run across the hall.
A pixie goes by. Hey, fuck you!
I just want to see a pixie in like the tailor fit armor. Oh my god, that's great.
Well,
Just me or all of us?
Just you, my boy.
Okay.
my boy.
I will get up and follow.
All right. So he leads you back upstairs, surprising you toward where your trial had been concocted. It leads you back to the room of the Phoenix Flames that you had failed the test. Jakar would like an audience with you, sir.
I nod, and I go in.
2 whispers.
I don't have to mute myself for this. Hello,
Are you there?
I am here.
All right. As you turn toward the flames that come down the Phoenix hallway, you walk toward them. You feel the heat get closer and closer to you, and as you come up right to the edge, the heat is pricklingly hot, scalding your skin almost. And you turn back, looking at Scott for reassurance. He gives you a slight smile and a nod. What do you do?
I continue on.
All right. You begin to walk into the flame, and immediately it begins to fade. The heat that was there is gone. The corridor seems to go endlessly. Down, up, no turns, no twists. It's hard to tell whether you're going up an incline or down a steep slope. But your calves begin to ache with this path that you are going down. Eventually, the hallway seems to open, seems to emerge into a massive cavern. As you step into it, the flames behind you are just gone. As you look back through the opening, there is no hallway. There is just the Phoenix room behind, and Scott standing, staring down toward the flames, not 10 feet away from you. You turn back into this massive room. Its ceiling arching over 100 feet high, smooth but imperfect, carved from rock. A voice fills the room, almost in your head. And you recognize it immediately as the voice of the figure in gold from before, who you now know to be Jakar. I have granted you an audience, but first you must answer a riddle, Savior.
I seem to do pretty well with riddles.
Why do dragons sleep during the day?
Do dragons sleep during the day?
Make a perception check while you're at it.
Okay. Perception. My perception score disappeared for me. 24.
1 second.
He has to get something. Don't break your stuff.
Break everything. Break it all.
So it was, why do dragons only sleep at night?
No, why do dragons sleep during the day?
Why do dragons sleep during the day?
Okay, yeah. Glancing around the room, trying to find the source of this voice as you piece out the riddle, there's just the uneven cave ground, massive piles of rocks all around. This the brownish red cavern around you.
I'm not entirely sure.
This laughter fills your head, almost a maniacal, cackling kind of laughter. Not in a foreboding way, but in someone who finds this too amusing.
Well, now that I think about it, in a lot of fairy tales they fight knights.
The massive pile of rocks in front of you on the other end of the cavern begins to shake violently as suddenly it shifts and moves and unfurls two massive leathery wings. The head turns towards you, two gleaming golden eyes of a dragon. Its face peeled back into a massive grin as it begins to laugh almost uncontrollably. It rolls across the cavern floor onto its back and lets out just a massive gut-busting cackle in the room that reverberates off the walls.
Jakar?
Yes! And the form shifts down into a...
That was great.
He says that was great. Shifts down into the form that you had seen at the dinner table the night prior. A man with a long kind of curled black beard with beads in it, flowing robes. He stands up, brushes himself off. I love that one.
That's very good. Do you got any more? I quite enjoy them.
I have entire lists of them, Xavier. Oh. So, he opens his arms up. Welcome to my lair.
It is quite nice.
And it's been here for hundreds of years. But that's not why you are here today. Today, Scott told me you have in your possession those daggers that I gave to a pupil of mine.
Oh yes, these, and I pull them out and hand them over.
He takes them. I see they have gone dormant.
Yes, we were able to retrieve one, but the other one had been lost for a while. But we were finally able to. It was more so given back to us.
Well, they're of very little use in this present state. And he holds them in his palms and breathes upon them. And as he does,
What what color dragon was he, or is he?
Um, with your extensive knowledge of dragons, I would put him at a lovely copper hue.
Okay.
Hence the proclivity for jokes.
I love it.
He breathes across the daggers in his hand, and as he does, they seem to levitate off his palms a little bit, floating a bit into the air. They both, and the two halves together in the middle, forming a kind of double-ended short blade that in mid-air. He catches it with his hand, pops them apart.
Darth Maul style?
Darth Maul style, yep.
Okay.
And then pops them apart, spins them a little bit, and hands them back to you as two separate blades, but now the handles can conjoin. There you are. Those should assist you further. I need to grab the stats for that. This is the first magic item I created for you guys. And I'm finally getting to get to its exalted form 2 years later.
Yay.
They are now no longer a +2 damage, +2 to damage and hit. They are now +3.
Okay, let me grab a pencil here. So they're +3.
Mm-hmm. In addition, you can cast from them teleport twice a day.
Ooh.
And I had something else. Why is that not in here?
Do they still have the advantage on insight checks?
Yep, all of that. Everything they had from before, plus these additions.
So it's still a D4 plus D4 radiant?
Yep. Where's... Hold on. Good night. And when you place them together and use them as a short sword, hold on, I need to write this down as well because apparently I forgot to write it in my book. When you use them as a double blade, when you put them together, you can cast what is called Searing Burst. And what this is you emit a divine energy. Each creature within a 10-foot radius must make a dexterity saving throw, or take 4d6 fire damage, and 4d6 radiant damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one.
Okay, so...
And that recharges after 1 week.
Okay, so
Let me go.
just on Discord or something, or over Facebook, just send me that spell.
Yeah.
And when they're conjoined like that, do they count as a short sword? Or is it just for that spell?
It's kind of just for that spell. You just kind of put them together, and it lets you cast the spell. They're still the daggers separately.
Okay. So they're
It's kind of a cool act. Boom, and they lets out a big radiant explosion.
All right, so they're still doing just the +4 to charisma score and max score, or...
Yep.
Okay.
Let me make sure here. So, yeah. Wielder gains advantage on insight checks plus, to the charisma, plus damage to hit, radiant damage, flying daggers, teleport, and searing burst.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because I know in Dormant they did +2, then Awaken they were +2, then +4. So just want to make sure.
It was plus 200. Hey, you know what? What is your current charisma?
It's 18 with the daggers. So it would make it 20 if it was another +2.
Let's give it another plus 2.
Okay. I'm not gonna
That
tell.
makes sense because I was doing an extra plus 2 at each level and I didn't do it. So that actually makes sense.
Not gonna tell Vale that. I'm sorry, my character is broken with this.
What was that?
My character, I have technically 420s with that.
Nice.
So, all right. So yeah, just send me the searing burst.
Yeah. Oh, but do you have a monster manual?
I do not. It's the next
Really?
one. That's the next one on the list.
Oh. Well, basically, the abilities for your solar feather are the stats for the solar angel for the solar creature.
Oh, that's a solar. Oh, the solar.
Yeah, solar. Although you don't get a +10 to charisma.
Damn.
But they have flying sword. They have where is it? I know it's on here somewhere.
I think I have it right here. Yeah, I have it right here. I'll copy that. I'll probably like pop open a thing and make the item up.
But yeah, searing burst emits a magic divine energy. Creature's 10-foot radius. There it's a DC 23 dexterity saving throw. It's going to be your spell casting DC.
Okay.
Because 23 is a bit ridiculous.
Okay. I can feel the heat emanating from them.
They are powerful. When they were granted to me originally, they aided me well.
I thank you, and I do a bow.
He gives you a bow back. Points the room around him a little bit, kind of a twirling motion.
Our little secret, eh?
Our little secret, especially from Elena. No.
Oh,
How long have, if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been here?
in this specific room?
Well, not in this specific room now, but like, were you around when Thordak scarred Amon? I didn't know if that affected your home here at all.
He looks around the room, and there's a little bit of... Finally, this face that has been laughing this entire time, you see, kind of gets a bit somber.
No, I was not in Iman, nor was this tower. I had been traveling the plains with this magnificent construction from the Age of Arcanum. I was in the Feywild, as it were. I moved my tower here just after Thordak had laid his claim to the city. As I walked the streets in the aftermath, I met Alan. I helped him, nurtured him, brought him here, and it was his idea to help others, to stop more like Thordak, and that reminded me of my time. I helped fight in the Age of Arcanum, the wars against the Betrayer gods. It reminded me of that struggle. Reminded me of what it meant to help others. So I gave him access to my tower. Helped him devise the ranks, and he holds out the feathers, and devised the name the Ness. After the Solar, who presented these to me, brought me into his family, so would we create a brood, as it were, further.
Well, it's an honor to be a part of this family. Then I hold out my arm to do like the whole brother's handshake.
He takes it, clasps you.
Good luck.
Thank you. I will.
And don't forget to take the contracts. There's some in Singboy.
I definitely will do that. You might need a little bit of money.
Oh, money. You know, do dragons ever have a plan?
I don't know. Do they?
He jumps into the air in midair transforms back into the massive copper dragon. His wings unfurl. No! We just wing it! And you get blasted by some of the air, which pushes you back over.
I love it. I will do another bow, and we'll turn around and walk out.
You turn around as the sound of Jakar laughing fills the chamber once again as he's flying around in a circle around the top of the room. You pass through the fire, and this time you're out. You feel the heat for just a moment, and you are back in front of Scott.
Well, it's not something you see every day.
See what?
Sometimes I don't know if you're joking or not.
He claps you on the shoulder, walks you back to your back to the party.
All right.
Points out as you go by one of the rooms. Says arcane travel in runes above it, so that you know where the teleportation room is, or the teleportation library is.
Well, with these, and I pull out the feathers, probably won't need that for right now. But I'll still take a look.
The teleport's 120 feet.
I thought it was the teleport spell.
No, sorry. They're kind of like a Misty Step kind of teleport.
Okay, so
It's a teleport with a range of 120 feet.
okay.
Sorry.
Okay, no, good thing I mentioned it now.
Yeah.
I don't say
That would
that.
be really powerful to give them teleport.
Yeah, I mean, if it was once a day teleport, that would be better. But like, with everything else they give, like, I'll stick with this.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Like, because I could still do teleportation circle, and it's a whole
All right.
room.
I didn't want them to be overpowered or underpowered, so a case could be made. But okay.
Yeah. I feel like there's a spell that does 120, but I have to look. I'll let you know.
I just know that the Solar in the book has teleport at 120 range. That's why I put them in the feathers.
Okay, makes sense.
It's literally the back. If you ever are going to cast Identify on these or whatever gives you the backstory, which I assume Xavier would do. These are literally feathers from a Solar. He plucked them from his wings and granted them to Jakar. They transformed into daggers
Awesome, I love it.
during the Age of Arcanum.
So they're rare. Okay. All right. Well,
All right.
I know where.
So
I
he
know where
takes
to
you
go.
back to the party.
Know where
and
to
we
go
can
for
back
the.
to the voice chat.
Merchandise fund, dice fund. I need to go to the back.
Dang it. Peggy, you should have done that already.
Hi.
2 seconds.
Mackenzie.
So what's the name of your new character?
Well, no, my character's name is still Xavier.
Oh god.
I'm just gonna.
Is it
I just got
Xavier?
stuff I just can't tell you guys.
He has an evil twin. I can't handle this.
I'm done. I'm gonna go home and cry.
Oh,
I'm
and
sent
and
home.
Xavier, just for fun fact, I'm just gonna say that I came up with that character before I got very far into watching Critical.
Okay.
So
I was getting those vibes, but
yeah, I know that was complete. I was watching the show like shit.
shit.
Anyway,
Well, I gotta.
So you'll catch up to us in like Singorn, right?
What? Sorry.
You're saying that you were gone so long we were halfway to Singorn.
What?
I was halfway to Ohio.
I mean, I can get there a lot faster than you guys.
Man, that was a real long talk.
It was.
Steven went somewhere.
He went to the bathroom.
Okay. then.
Okay. All right.
I'm
So we were just at the breakfast table, just discussing, like, what we didn't really do.
discussing the con.
Yeah.
Also, George has a new name. George's video screen. Oh, now it's not. Now it is. Is like right next to mine, so I can like high five his face.
It's opposite. You're opposite on mine, so it looks like you're. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, high five.
Other way.
Oh, for me, it's the other way.
No,
but-
for cow. The
Oh.
other way.
All right,
me,
all
yeah.
right. Come on.
Anyway, anyway,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Back on topic.
So guys,
Yes.
why
No,
do
we
dragons only
Well,
sleep during the day?
Oh no.
What?
Why do dragons only sleep during the day?
I'm leaving.
Why?
Hold on. Let me think.
Not like this. Not like
God, I
this.
hate Jakar. Is it actually Jakar?
Because the day dragons. Drags
Drags on. The
No.
day drags on.
No,
Dang it.
because they fight
was good,
knights.
I don't know. I feel like the day drag on
That's me.
works too.
Both of those are funny.
Yeah. So, was it actually Jakar?
Forgot to check the height of this tower.
I can't tell you.
This is Alayla asking Xavier, already knowing that it is Jakar.
I cannot confirm nor deny.
I hate you. Okay, what are we doing? Are we going to Sigorn? Did you find a transportation circle?
Yes. Scott showed me where they are. I'm away to talk to the master.
Okay. What did your master have to say?
He told me some stories, told me a few jokes.
Whatever. Okay, alright. Do we want to go shopping here? Or do we want to go shopping in Sigorn?
Well, I know if we need rations and whatnot, we should shop for that quickly here. I don't think we really need any, though. I do
I think
know.
we're good. I'm good on rations.
I also do know Singorn does have a few pretty neat magical items during a
We
certain
have
time.
We have the money now.
Well, we don't know that.
I have the money. I have my money.
Also, I need to tell you guys about an item I got.
Okay.
He's quite chatty, though.
A he?
Yeah.
When
he.
did you acquire a whole other person?
I reach into my bag and pull out the skull.
Oh, about fucking time. Oh my god, there's more.
I put him back in the bag. Yeah.
Hey,
he
we-
talks.
Did
What
any of
the-
us hear that or just him?
Oh yeah.
You all heard it.
Oh,
Pull it
Everyone
back
in the
out.
room
Great if it
suddenly
was
turns
just
towards
him.
Xavier. Everyone in the room turns around towards Xavier.
Pull it back out.
Nope, he is staying in there. He has about 100 foot range of telepathy, and I don't like that.
Is he nice?
My brother's trying
No.
to sneak into diaries.
He is worse than Oliver.
Oh.
That's hard.
He
Definitely.
is worth.
Well, Oliver's gotten better.
When we
What
first
does
met Oliver,
that mean, Vale?
the skull is worth quite a bit, but its magical effects are also very nice as well. Makes my spells hit harder and are harder to resist. But yeah,
real quick.
Does that mean Xavier is irresistible?
No, it just.
if I cast Charm Person,
Sorry.
Real quick. Is the tower warded against scrying?
I don't know. I've been here as long as you have.
Let's see.
It's totally Jakar.
Back, sir.
Yeah, so Xavier told us about the Ruby Skull. He has a way for us to get to Singorn.
Yes.
Yeah. So, do we want to leave now then? Since it's early, we'll get there, we'll get things done. Percival. Alright.
I
Are
mean,
you
I'll,
okay with leaving now? We
I mean,
need to go
Eldoris
now?
is still in his room.
Yes, I was gonna tell him. Eldoris? We're ready to go to Singorn if you're ready.
we'll be teleporting.
Eldoris opens the door after a couple minutes,
You see, wait.
and Eldoris is barely clothed, wrapped in a blanket. His features are paler than usual, which is weird. He's got bags under his eyes. His hair is matted. He's got tear streaks down his face, like stains, like tear stains down his face, and almost looks gaunt in appearance, and just looks miserable and done with life.
Do you need the day to rest, Eldoris?
He looks over at Xavier, and he's like almost doing like the scared puppy shake thing ever so slightly, and he looks at Xavier and goes, "Oh, what the hell what happened? Is this normal?"
I mean, I had a pretty bad night trying to sleep, but I was able to work through it. It might just take a little bit longer for you, I guess.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, perhaps having a bad reaction to whatever that was.
Possibly.
Wait to heal him?
Yeah. Give me a couple of minutes to get together.
Did you see the food I left outside your door?
He looks down at the food. His eyes kind of widen for a minute, and then he and immediately looks away.
I pick it up and I hide it behind my back. It's gone. There's no food here.
I'm sorry. Thank you. And you see him turn around and just walk into the room and start picking up his clothes. The room is a disaster area. Absolute disaster area. That was creepy for about 0.05 seconds until I saw everything below the eye.
See, Paula has a thing.
So, Paula?
See, Paula grabs Eldoris' hand and like puts her hand over his.
It is clammy to the touch, which is unusual for.
And she says, "I hope this makes you feel better," and she does lesser restoration on him.
And someone remind me what lesser restoration can do?
You touch a creature and can end either one disease or one condition afflicting it. The condition can be blinded, deafened, or poisoned.
I'll allow it. So you feel a warmth go over you, Eldoris. You are still exhausted, but the nausea, the sweating, the effects of the potion seem to wear off. Now there's just you didn't sleep all night, and your muscles ache from the shaking, and your eyes are heavy. That's about it. So she really did make you feel quite a bit better, just not 100%.
He doesn't turn around to look back at her. He just goes about trying to pick up his room, and like the bed is tossed. Like he looks like he fought with everything in his room.
Did he win?
No.
Oh.
I had messaged you, Cal, about kind of having a little go back and forth with his shadow. I don't know what his shadow is doing right now, but I imagine not being in sync with him to some degree, or maybe trying to communicate with somebody else.
Yeah, as he's frantically going around the room picking things up, his shadow's kind of lagging behind. At some points, going in front of him. Like you can see, it's kind of trying to. I don't want to say get in his face, but like get into his line of sight. And then every time it just gets into his line of sight, Eldorus like turns the other way, and it kind of like you can see it getting a little frustrated, and like tries to like pop up from the floor on the ceiling, and it's not getting his attention.
Do you need help, Eudorus?
No, but I might sleep on the road.
Well, actually, we're teleporting, but we can get it in Singord.
Oh. No, it'll be okay. I'll be alright. I'll be fine.
I turned to Vale and then Sylvan. That we speak the same way. Sylvan, or is it Celestial? We speak together.
Yes.
Sylvan. Okay. I turned to Vale and I go like, we should really, when we get to Singborn, get a room for Eudorus so that he can rest.
Well, depending
He'll just
on
throw a blank stare. I do not speak Sylvan.
Did I say it in Elvish?
I
say it in Elvish?
I respond back in Sylvan because I hear this. I can read lips. If we're teleporting there might be rooms at that location in the nest.
I didn't think about that. But then I repeat what I said to Vale in Elvish.
I say the same thing in Elvish.
I was going to finish that. Okay.
Just fucking with you at this point.
Yeah. No. That he can speak our languages. Yeah.
It's not. No, just.
What?
I don't need two people telling me what to do. Or
I
translating.
wasn't telling you what to do.
I don't need two people saying the same thing to me.
I was saying to
get
her.
Okay. All right. Let us know when you're ready to go. Let us. We can help you if you need.
He doesn't respond. He looks better.
Can I
Like
start
he's-
like picking the things up that are like a part of the room and not Eudorus's? I'm not trying to rush you. I'm not trying to rush Eudorus. I'm just trying to support Eudorus. You know.
Sure, yeah. He is very like very lethargic.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Eventually, he gets his things together. It's funny at one point. He turns around and looks at you while he's picking up his things, and the blanket falls off of him. And of course, he's got all of his clothes, literally all of his clothes, in his hand, and he just goes, "Oh, thank you."
Wait, is this like nude Eudorus and like I need
Yes.
to cover my eyes?
Yes.
Okay, I do like one of these. I'm like, yep, you're welcome.
I
Thumbs
like how
up.
it's only the half turn in the cover
Yeah,
rather
you're
than the
welcome.
full turn. I'm gonna grab a loaf of bread for the road.
Okay.
Some pocket bacon.
Pocket bread.
Bag of holding bread.
Bag of holding bread. All right. So Eudorus, you managed to get all your possessions together, and some semblance of packed away. Your clothing put on. Is everyone all set to leave the nest?
Yeah.
Okay. So Xavier, what are you doing?
This way. And
You lead them to the room that you had passed with Scott on your way back from your meeting. You see the door, and those of you who can read Draconic, you see above it, inscribed upon the doorway, kind of the arcane language. It says Sigil Room, and as you open the door, you remember the nest where Xavier had entered was a hall with all the armor, very ornate. This room looks like 30 of those rooms. As you walk in, there is pillar after pillar after pillar after pillar lining every single wall. You see the name of almost every single city in all of Taldore listed in this circle going around the room,
Including Whitestone?
excluding Whitestone.
Okay.
Are we going to become the Whitestone brand?
Probably.
There's some
Oh,
people
no.
already there.
Just a quick game for, just a quick question for Cal for game. What is my brother's lover's first name? I know it's Inara, is how you pronounce it?
It's Oliver's
It's a last
boyfriend.
name.
That's his name.
Is it Lord Inara? I don't remember how to pronounce it.
Oliver's boo thing.
Boo thing. Howdy boo boo.
Man, I know I wrote it. I was afraid you were going to ask because I forgot,
Same.
and it's in my notes. And I have to get to it.
Sorry.
DM's
Yeah,
brain can only hold so much information at once.
Yeah.
Buffering.
Even Matt Mercer takes notes.
And I'm notoriously bad at note taking.
Wow.
The problem is, like, I know what the note looks, where in this book it is what it looks like.
It's so weird seeing Mackenzie without that magnificent.
It's
Right.
coming back.
It's a thing.
Are we gonna see George shave?
You better have that done by October.
Oh, I will.
Good.
I have,
You got-
and the notes are
and
here
that's
on
so
my
I can
computer
braid it.
for the Inara family. There's nothing in it. Where did it go? I know I have it. There it is, Inara family. Brother. Elvaro.
Oh, okay, how do you spell that?
Who the heck? Oh, my wife is calling me. Hang on a second.
L-Varo.
Hello?
V-A-R-O-W.
Cassie?
Mute me.
Cassie? I'll be right back. I need to go check on
Okay.
Alright, yeah, dope. So we're gonna get to see George shave?
I already did.
Like clean
Like
shave.
back in
Like-
February.
You shave and it's like scruffy. It's never like a clean
That's not a
shave.
clean shave. That's a scruffy shave.
Yeah, right. It's the only way I shave.
I want to see
I
George
like the
clean
beard.
shaving.
I did in February. You missed it.
It's slightly red. Your beard. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. It's just got a little bit
More
of
of a
red.
brown.
What's
Are
like
you
a brown
still
red?
listening to that song?
Yeah.
No, he's listening.
So I'm back to listening to it. I did stop.
I'm trying to get in sync with you, George.
Sorry. I'm
Stop
very
it.
inconsistent.
Wait.
You're fucking stupid.
This makes my heart happy.
George,
Stop it, George.
stick
so
to
inconsistent.
Stick to a
I
rhythm.
can't-
It's stuck in my head. I can't.
Oh, what joy it'll bring.
It's a great song. It's a bop. It slaps. Everyone should
It's
listen
a
to the
bop
coffin
that
dance.
slaps.
Yeah.
I'll turn it on. Give me a moment.
Turn it up.
I saw a shadow.
House is haunted. He's got shadow people living there.
Moon's
The
haunted.
real reason you wanted us investigating the haunted house in Singorn.
No, I'm excited to see for Kayla to see who's actually at the fairy house.
Everything
about
cool?
that. Yeah, we're good.
Good.
But I got everyone. So it's the father was Emilius, the mother was Lyra, the older brother was Biagio, the younger brother was Alvaro, and the sister is Eulalia.
Okay, how do
So
you
he's
spell
related to Biagio.
Biagio? How do you spell the
Wow,
lover's name?
power couple, great.
How do I spell whose name?
Alvario?
A
Alvaro.
L V A R O. Alvaro.
Sorry, spell it again.
ALVARO.
Alvaro? Okay. Alright, let's do this. Let's go to St. Gordon.
Oh, they're having a dance party or something.
The thing is, my song isn't on right now. The song isn't on.
What makes it better?
Yeah. Alright,
Okay.
let's do this. Let's go to St. Gordon.
So Xavier, you find the area of the room marked for Singborn, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sigils that are under the auspices of Singborn. There is one for the Memory Ward, one for the Barrel Keep, one for the Tarn Ward, one for the Reverie Walks, one for the Emerald Citadel, the Spires of Yorick,
Ooh.
Lake Yonless, and the Archheart.
Hey, Vale, let's go visit your grandma.
The one you don't know about?
Yeah, that one.
All right.
Sorry, say the the first half of the list again.
Sure. The Memory Ward, the Barrel Keep, the Tarn Ward, the Reverie Walks, the Emerald Citadel, the Spires of
Where,
Yorick,
where
the Lake.
which
Go ahead.
which one would be the
Say again.
Oh, everyone froze.
The
The
Nara
one-
family is the Nara
Okay.
family is the one in the Memory Ward.
All right. So my my connection froze there for a second.
Yeah.
Which would be the most like least suspicious coming out of?
Well, you don't know what the where the sigils are in each area. You know, the Reverie Walks is a very wooded area, but if you pop up in the middle of a walking path, you know, that would be pretty obvious. And the Emerald Citadel could be obvious, but if you guys pop up in a broom closet, you don't know.
What about the Memory Ward? Because there's less people there. There's houses.
Somebody's really staticky.
Yeah.
Is it me? Let me mute myself and we'll see.
No.
I mean, it's Cal.
Cow.
Cal, leave the call real quick and come back.
Better?
A little bit.
All right. So where are we going?
I mean, the memory because the Memory Ward has that giant tree, right? And it's a bunch of houses around it, so it might be with less people. So that might be a good area. Does the Anara family live in the Memory Ward as well?
Yes, they were directly across from the massive tree.
Okay,
We walk out of the tree.
right.
No one would notice that, right?
No, nobody.
I say we try the Memory Ward.
Okay, sounds good to me.
All right. So you all gather on the sigil on the ground.
Cal, can you unplug your headphones and plug them back in, maybe? Because you're still static. Sorry.
Better?
Yes.
Oh, much better.
See, that's all we needed to do.
So you all gather around the plinth that the arcane sigil is drawn upon on the ground, Xavier puts his hand down on the ground as the purple energy swirls around you. The massive room begins to fade. You feel that lurch, like a roller coaster, suddenly taking off around you, the pit dropping from your stomach. And woof, the sky around you turns bright and blue. You can see for miles around the entire city of Singorn sprawling beneath you, as the entire party is stood on top of a 300-foot tall sequoia of remembrance.
This is not
Nausea
what I
back.
thought this was gonna be.
And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Oh,
Ah, sad day.
Yeah, it's the last thing that you hear is Uldora's go, Nausea's back.
ah,
Thanks for joining, guys. Sorry for the short session. I didn't have everything for Singorn prepped, and I don't think you guys want to wait like 20 minutes while I grab all the notes for that. Because that was like a year and a half ago that we were last in Singorn.
This is true.
I mean, if everyone's okay, we can go take a small break if we wanted to continue.
I'm
If
down with that.
if you
Or
can.
You have to work in the morning.
I'd rather not. I have work.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I'd
fair.
be going to. I would be like getting it ready that we'd play for another half hour, and I'd be like, okay, bedtime, 1 o'clock.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. All right.
I'm
Well,
probably gonna go to bed.
well, thank you everybody for joining us. We'll be heading
Bye.
off.
See you next week.
Bye.